What's up, guys? It's your girl Jazz. Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerable Vibes. We're back, we're better, and today we're talking about something everybody's not gonna like this. Everyone's not gonna like this, but sometimes what we call protecting our peace is really just avoidance. Yeah, yeah. Because one thing about avoidance wears a real convincing disguise. So, what is avoidance? Avoidance, by definition, is the action of keeping away from doing something. So, technically, running away from something, forcing something to not happen when it should. And sometimes we can mistake avoidance with protecting our peace or choosing peace or setting boundaries. I'm here today to cancel that myth. Don't get me wrong, protecting your peace and setting boundaries, very important. Something we should all do, something we should all practice, but there is a big difference between setting boundaries and shutting down. There's a big difference between choosing peace and choosing to not deal with things or to not address things. And true peace does not mean that nothing hard happens or that difficult, uncomfortable things don't happen. True peace means that you trust yourself enough to handle those difficult, uncomfortable, hard things. And trust me, I was low key an avoidant queen. Not 100%, but I did avoid a lot of things because I don't like confrontation. I don't like confrontation. I don't like just drama. I don't like, just that uncomfortable feeling when you have to deal with things. I don't like that. I don't think anyone likes that. Like, who likes that? Nobody likes that. But sometimes we avoid it and we do more harm than good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my younger self, I was so like non-confrontational, but what I really was doing was honestly creating more conflict. Like by avoiding things and by not wanting to deal with them, I was honestly making them worse. And I think we're all guilty of that because we feel like, okay, I'm just not gonna deal with it. Like I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just move on and da da da. But like, is it really going away? Is it really leaving the room? No, you're just not looking at it. You're just ignoring it. So, what is choosing peace? Well, obviously, it looks different for everybody, but I feel like we don't choose peace. We have to create it, right? And that may be controversial, but I feel like you have to create the peace in order to choose. Like, what are you choosing? Like, what are you choosing? And I feel like we don't really choose peace. We just choose to do something that feels good in a temporary moment, that feels less uncomfortable, that feels like lighter in a way. But when you're choosing peace or when you're creating peace, that's not temporary. Like that's something that lasts long within you. Even like I said, even going through hard things, like peace is about knowing how to deal with the hard things, trusting yourself, and still knowing who you are within those storms and within those difficult situations. Doesn't mean that things aren't going to happen, but it just means you know how to, you're fully equipped. You're not healing, you're not growing if you're just running from everything that triggers you, or running from everything that makes you uncomfortable, or running from things that just feel like work. Um, no, you're not healing, babe. You're not. You're actually doing more harm than good. You're actually pushing things deeper under that rug, and nobody's gonna be able to walk. Nobody's gonna be able to walk through the living room when there's mad shit under the rug. Like, I don't know why we keep doing that to ourselves, like pushing things under the rug, dealing with them later. I'm gonna deal with that later. I'm gonna do this. No, like that actually makes us way worse. And sometimes healing is really just healing and just growing and being better and finding that true inner peace. Sometimes it's just sitting in those really difficult, uncomfortable situations or scenarios, like whether it's having a difficult conversation with somebody or revisiting things that have hurt you that you kind of pushed off, like you have to deal with that, but obviously from a grounded place and from a good safe space, but things have to be dealt with. You can't just run away from things and just say that you're protecting your peace. And protecting your peace is important. It's very essential to, I feel like, living life. Our parents' generation and previous generations, they didn't know what that meant, nor were they allowed to even do that. And so, like, personally, I watch like people in my life, like my grandmother, for example. I don't think she's ever chosen herself or chosen peace. You know what I mean? I think she always did what she felt was right in the moment for other people, like taking care of her grandkids, taking care of her husband, taking care of people around her, other kids. Like she chose what was right, but necessarily didn't choose or create peace for herself. You get what I'm saying? And I've watched so many people in my life do that. Like that was modeled to me. And so that was something that I unfortunately had to unlearn and go through and realize like, am I actually at peace or am I choosing peace or creating peace or am I just doing what I feel is right? And so that's one part of it. And the other part is being able to sit in those uncomfortable situations or scenarios. I don't think anybody was taught how to communicate, but well, not some people were, don't get me wrong. Some families did a really great job at teaching their kids that, but baby, no, not in my family. No offense to them, love them, but they know the vibes, okay? We were not taught how to communicate. And so a lot of times avoidance was the answer. Not dealing with it, pretending it doesn't exist, pushing it under the rug. That's not choosing peace. That's not setting a boundary or, putting yourself first. No, that actually kind of messed all of us up. And now we all have issues communicating. We all have issues sitting in uncomfortable situations. And I feel like that is a part of growth. Like when I was able to have uncomfortable conversations, whether I'm crying or not, because one thing about me, I'm gonna cry. But when I was able to start doing that, it was like I felt better. I felt like, "Oh, that wasn't that bad." Like I'm glad we talked about this. I'm glad we got that off. I'm glad we got to get to a resolution. And it's not always gonna be smooth, but it's just about opening that door for you to deal with the things that's in the closet. You can't just keep keeping the door closed and kicking the door like you have eventually you're going to have to deal with them because they don't go away. Like the things that we go through in life, the issues that we run from or the things that we avoid or put off for later, they stay where they are. They don't leave. A lot of us are really operating in a space of avoidance. And like I said, it wears a pretty convincing disguise because we can really I know one thing about me, I can forget about something. I can really force myself to forget about something, I'm not gonna lie. But the thing with avoidance is you can be good at it, but there's going to be some little trigger, some little thing that happens throughout your day or throughout the week that's gonna bring everything back up. It's going to regurgitate everything that you've been pushing away, and eventually it's gonna be bad. And some of us know that, and some of us go through that cycle continuously and have to learn the hard way because we blow up, say things we don't mean, put ourselves in bad positions because we're not dealing with it. We're running away from it. We're choosing to avoid it. You have to ask yourself, am I choosing peace or am I escaping something that I'm not ready to face? Like I said, protecting your peace is important, but real peace can hold space for growth. It can hold space for hard conversations. It can hold space for all those things in between, not just silence. Peace is not just silence and just like kumbaya. Like that's not what it is. Like peace is just about knowing who you are, accepting who you are, accepting life and things around you, people around you, and just having that inner peace of like I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay no matter what, and things are gonna be good. Like, I don't think any of us are truly at peace because we're constantly worrying about things on a daily. I know I am. We're constantly focusing on what we should be do better, what we have to do better. We're constantly dwelling on the past. We're constantly dealing with the fact that we are pushing things away or avoiding things, and they affect us. They affect how we interact with people. They affect how we operate just in our day-to-day life, our habits. All the things that we choose to avoid, they still live with us. They still live within us. Peace is not just silence. Like, peace is actually working through those things. And like I said, we choose peace, but we don't create peace. You can't choose something that you did not create. You're not taking the steps to create peace, but you're choosing it. That makes no sense at all. And I also had to realize that I'm not perfect. You're not alone. Like, I still to this day have to force myself like, no, 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 you cannot run away from this. You can't just throw this away. You gotta talk about it. You gotta deal with it. You gotta let it happen. And honestly, it's not only about having hard conversations or being uncomfortable. Sometimes it's also like that feeling, right? Say for example, something you went through in your life that you know you didn't deal with it. You keep telling yourself you're good. You keep telling yourself like, "Oh, like it doesn't bother me anymore." But you just don't wanna go through that. You don't wanna talk about it. There's things in the past that, like, I found myself not now, but before, like, I could not even talk about it. "Don't ask me about it. I don't wanna talk about it." But then I'd say at the same time, like, "I don't care about it. I'm good." Like, that makes no sense. You can't talk about it. You don't wanna talk about it. It makes you uncomfortable, yet somehow you're good? No. Like, we lie to ourselves constantly, and I think that's the thing about avoidance. When we choose avoidance, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, which 9 times out of 10 is subconsciously, when we choose avoidance, what we're actually doing is creating a narrative that does not exist in real life. We are literally lying to ourselves. It's very being avoidant and being the Lulu, they're neck and neck, like pretty much. Because you're really delusional to think that you're not affected by something and that you can just put it to the side and be okay. That's kinda yeah, that's kinda delulu, and I've been delulu for a lot of times in my life, I'm not gonna lie. So, don't be ashamed. We're all here, we're all human, but yeah, like, protecting your peace is more than just being silent and just pushing things away, like, that's not what that is. I don't think we really know what that is. And like I said, it looks different for everybody, but you have to create that piece. It shouldn't cost you growth and it shouldn't cost you like just your personal development because honestly, those very difficult things in life really is what makes us grow. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's so much things I went through in my life that I'm like, now that I'm older, I'm like, yo, like that shit was so hard but I probably would have never know what I know now had I not gone through that. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I wouldn't choose it again, but we all have been through things where it's like, it was difficult, it was hard, but I really came out of that knowing something, learning something, and I'm able to just like take it with me every day, like that lesson. And so, are we really growing if we're not experiencing things that are hard or difficult? No, we're not. If everything in life is peaceful and easy and just easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, you're not growing at all. You're just not growing. I'm not gonna, I already called y'all delusional, so that's enough. But you're not growing if everything is easy and just like I'm at peace. Like nothing bothers me. Like that's honestly a real bad state to be in because we're human. We feel things, we go through things. Every day is not going to be good. Every week, every year is not going to be good. But creating that inner peace is what helps you navigate through that and what helps you kind of like learn the tools. Like, I know by going through things that I went through in my life, like, now when I'm going through other things, I'm like, okay, I went through something before that was similar to this. And although it was very hard, I kind of know how to navigate it a little different. You know what I mean? Like, although I'm still going to experience it, I kind of know now, okay, this is what I should do. This is what I shouldn't do. Because last time I did this, like, you know what I mean? Like, these are the lessons that come out of those really difficult experiences and make us who we are. It provides us a new sense of self. Like, I always say to people, when you go through something, you got to go through it. You got to be in it. You got to let those feelings occur, let those feelings happen. But when you get to the other side, you're not the same person. You're a whole different person because you experience something. Anytime you experience something, it's a new sense of self that's birthed out of that experience. You get what I'm saying? So we're always changing, we're always evolving, we're always being different because we are allowing these things to happen and not to happen. We're allowing these feelings to exist, these feelings that come out of situations and experiences that we go through, hard situations, difficult, uncomfortable, weird situations. So if you're not going through anything, if you're avoiding everything and you're just choosing peace, are you really growing? Are you learning anything? That's something you have to ask yourself. We can spend years ignoring something and being good at it. And like I said, it takes that one day, that one bad day to bring all of that up, literally. For example, I remember I was in a hotel like away with my boyfriend and we overslept, we missed the checkout time. Why are checkout times so early? Anyway, we missed the checkout time and he and this is very a vulnerable moment because we just jumped up, right? We jumped up and he just was yelling like, "Oh my God, get up, da, 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 get up, get up." And I just broke down crying. I had such a crazy moment because it brought me back to when I was younger and my mother used to scream at me to wake me up for school and for breakfast. And I hated that. It created a very deep trauma wound for me. And I didn't realize it until that day that I had not dealt with that. You get what I'm saying? Like something as harmless as him just yelling like, "Oh, get up, we're late, da da da." It's like it brought me back to me being 12 years old, getting woken up from to go to school. Like that's how life works. It doesn't matter how much we feel like we're good or we're healed and how much we feel like we've gone through things. Like sometimes we are so good at avoiding that we don't even realize there are so much things we haven't even tapped into yet. Things we thought we forgot or things we thought we're just good. No, you're not. You just avoided dealing with it. And that's what happened to me. And so I had to go through that. I had to talk to my therapist about it. I had to talk to my boyfriend about it, obviously, because he was confused, like, what? And just really allow myself to be in that moment of like, wow, like I never dealt with that. You know what I mean? Like I never dealt with that trauma. And I came out of that a new person. You know what I mean? Like I said, every time you go through a new experience, there's a new part of you that has developed. And so now I'm able to go through that, work through it, feel better. And now it's like I'm also able to communicate that with my partner. Sometimes we think we know our triggers and we don't until something happens to trigger it. And then we expect people around us to understand or to be cognizant of what our triggers are, but, like, the truth is we don't even know what's going on. I didn't even know that that was a trigger for me until it happened, and so now that I know that and I'm able to not avoid it or push it to the side and deal with it, I told him about it. I told my partner about it, and now he knows to not do that again. It wasn't intentional, but it's just something to keep in mind, you get what I'm saying? And now I can tell other people around me as well. That's how things work. Beautiful experiences come out of difficult experiences. That was a new and beautiful experience for me to understand a new trigger that I didn't know existed because I avoided it for so long. And so now I'm moving in a space where I have peace with the situation. I'm creating a sense of peace of like, I went through that, it affected me, and it's okay, and it bothers me. And now I know to tell people, don't do this because this is a little bit of a trigger. And now I'm at peace with it instead of just avoiding it and not dealing with it. And so this just brings me back to my original point. Like, you can't just label things as like, oh, I'm good. I'm just choosing peace. And no, you're avoiding them. You have to deal with the things that are uncomfortable or awkward or hard. And true, like inner peace requires a level of honesty that is beyond just, I'm good. I'm going to get through it. It is what it is. Like, that's not true honesty. And you know what meme always makes me laugh when I see it? It's actually not a funny meme, but it's always like my friend, like, I don't know how it goes exactly, but it's like, oh, my friend texts me. When people text me, how are you? I just immediately say, I'm good. I'm all good, because what are they going to do anyway? And it's like, that could be true. That could be true because I agree to a certain extent. However, sometimes it's not about what a person can do. Sometimes that's a moment for you to be honest with yourself, because you're not waking up in the morning and saying, how are you? You're not. You're doing what you got to do. You're moving along. So I've learned to now, like, when people say, "Hey, how are you?" and I'm not good, I'm gonna say I'm not good. You know what I mean? Like, one of my friends, it's so funny, we do it to each other. We, like, when we're going through something, he'll hit me up and I'll be like, I'm not good." He'll be like, "Yeah, me either. But what you doing?" And it's like, sometimes that's all you need. Like, I don't need him to fix my problems. He doesn't need me to fix his most of the time. We don't need to fix, like, each other's problems, but we give each other space to be honest with ourselves. Like, I'm not doing good, but I'm gonna be okay. But at least acknowledging it and not avoiding it, that is what makes a difference. That is the level of honesty that can create that level of peace inside. And we deserve real peace, not just temporary pause from the things that scare us. No, we deserve a real peace. And in order to protect it, we have to cultivate it from a sense of honesty, from a sense of purity. And you have to just make sure, like, you're choosing peace. Like, is it keeping you from getting better, growing, learning, or is it making things feel good for the moment? The real peace comes after the hard part. Don't rob yourself of a breakthrough. Don't rob yourself of beautiful experiences, beautiful teaching moments that can give you such a new perspective, a new light. That's what we do. When we avoid, we rob ourselves those opportunities to come out of things as a better person, those breakthroughs. So, yeah, a lot of people may not like that. A lot of people may not like that, but it's the truth. Like, we're not choosing peace, we're avoiding. And so, if you're listening to this today and you resonated with this, I hope you can learn from it. I hope you could share it with someone that you feel like can experience the same thing, because the truth is we all go through it and we know it. Like, that's the thing too. Like, we know that we're avoiding things or putting things off, but like that peace, true inner peace requires a level of honesty that we're not ready to give to ourselves. So if you really want to choose peace, you got to be honest. You got to keep it about you got to keep it real. And you got to stop avoiding the things that are hard. It could be as simple as having a conversation with somebody is going to be confrontational. Sometimes you could pick and choose. I'm not going to lie. Like, you get to be selective with who you interact with, and for the sake of your mental health, of course. But sometimes conversations are needed. Even if you think there's one thing I learned in therapy is, babes, you don't know what timing someone's going to be on every day. Even if you know them, you could know somebody so well and they can actually surprise you, because you can go to them and talk to them and it actually turns out way different than you expected. You know what I mean? And even if it doesn't, cool. Our job is not to control the reaction of things. Our job is to get thing get to that inner peace. And sometimes in order to get to that inner peace, we got to get through things. We got to get things off our chest. We got to say things that we need to say to people. We have to work on communicating. We have to work on not avoiding the hard things. So I'm so glad you guys were here to tune in to this episode. I really appreciate you all for listening, for being here with me, for being patient with me. Please share, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode.